Hi guys, I am Desroy
And I'm Janelle.
and welcome to
A
Couple Things. This channel is not just about couples, it is for couples.
And future couples.
Once were couples and even they I am never
gonna do it again, crowd.
Because all it really takes is a couple things,
A couple considerations.
a couple of commitments, and a couple of corrections to turn things around. But today we have in studio the beautiful couple, Fletcher and Lindsay Norrod. Hi guys.
Glad to be here.
For having us on here. We're super excited.
Awesome.
They have been married for over 6 years?
6 years.
6 years. So guys, we are gonna be hearing their story, their love story.
They have two beautiful kids, Violet and Harleys.
They're such joy to be around, like really, they're great joy.
They're high energy.
That's for sure.
Yeah, they're good people. So, Lindsay, how did you guys meet?
So Fletcher and I met at church where my dad preached years ago. That was back in 2017. And so I had a friend who, she actually ended up dating Fletcher. They went to high school together. And that friend basically ended up losing interest in Fletcher. Their relationship was not going to go anywhere. But Fletcher was really interested in, the congregation there, that we taught the Bible, and that was so, refreshing to him, and some of the contemporary churches he had been attending. So he kept coming, and I had interest in him. So I tried to approach him, and we started talking a little bit, and from there we began dating. Fletcher did some studies with my dad as the preacher there, did private Bible studies, and he was really convicted that he had, not truly ever become a Christian. So he, wanted to be baptized very quickly after just a few studies. And from there, we just kept growing our relationship and, connecting and learning more and more about each other, how to help each other.
Awesome. Well, there's always two sides to the story. So we've heard Lindsay's side to the story, and she said that's the story. Let's hear from Fletcher. What's your side of the story? What were things like in terms of beforehand? What were you doing in terms of meeting Lindsay? You met at the congregation, but what were things like for you?
Yeah, so like she said, I was dating a girl I went to high school with. I didn't grow up in the church, but she invited me to come on a Wednesday night.
Okay.
So I walked into the fellowship hall where the teenagers were having their class back when we were teenagers. And I remember seeing Lindsay at the table there. I remember thinking like, wow, okay, she's a pretty girl. But obviously I was dating a different girl at the time, so didn't think too much about it.
Yeah.
But like Lindsay said, me and her friend ended up breaking up, but that was the summer of my senior year of high school.
Okay.
And I just really loved how the congregation there was teaching the Bible, and I was coming away with Bible knowledge. So that was the most important reason why I continued to go back. But there was a pretty girl that sat over on the right side of the auditorium too that I kept wanting to see more of. So I went there during the summer. We had our first date in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, at Ripley's Aquarium of the Smokies.
Okay.
So
Yeah, you remember.
Yeah, you're so the
Yeah. That's
And
awesome.
then we went to Texas Roadhouse for lunch afterwards.
Nice.
And then from there, like she said, I ended up becoming a Christian in September, and asked her to be my girlfriend officially on her birthday in October.
Okay.
And from there, we just continued on.
Nice.
That's
Nice. That's awesome. I
sweet.
love a love
Yeah,
story.
we love love stories.
Yeah, it's the
It's
best.
a beautiful one.
Speaking of love.
It's so mushy. Wow. Lindsay, I want you to look Fletcher in the eye. Look him in
Turn
the
to
eye.
him.
Turn to him and tell him, what do you love about Fletcher?
I think there's a lot I can say, but I try not to be too much.
Yeah.
But I love about you that you are just always the most relaxed, real easygoing person. I think that balances me out very well because I'm more, uptight. And that can be a good thing sometimes. But I think we balance each other out very well. You're always very go with the flow, willing to help, patient, calm. So I love that. I think that makes our marriage work very well.
Okay, what about you, Fletcher? Keep looking at her and tell her what it is that you love most about her.
So, I think she would agree that we're kind of the same person in a lot of ways. And so, what I love most about her is what I love most about you
That's right.
Yes.
is that you seem to always be on the same wavelength as me. And you can always tell if I'm upset or we have essentially the same thoughts. Like I said, we always come up with the same ideas or think of the same jokes at the same time, that sort of thing. So being on the same wavelength is what I love most about it.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Oh, like you guys are gonna give me like, yeah, that's so sweet.
But in terms of transitions, because remember, the channel is not just for couples that are married, but also for those who are looking to get married or have some interest in marriage. What was that transition like for you, Fletcher? Moving from that dating at the Texas Roadhouse and the Gatlinburg Aquarium, moving from that phase to, okay, she's not just officially my girlfriend, but she's gonna be my wife. What was that transition like for you? What made that transition seamless?
Yeah, so one thing that made the transition seamless for sure was the fact that we dated for a long time before getting married.
How long is long?
Yeah, so we dated for about a little over 2 years before
Okay.
getting married. So we had a lot of time to learn each other, to get to know each other, to learn our strengths and our weaknesses. Obviously, we didn't live with each other before.
Yeah.
I mean, I practically lived with y'all though. You know,
Like, he was always at our house.
I lived 10
always.
minutes down the road, so as much as I could, I was at y'all's house. So in a way, we lived together, but we, through spending so much time with each other, really got to know each other, and the transition wasn't super abrupt because we had such a long
We
time
became so
together.
familiar.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
How was it for you, Lindsay? Moving from Lindsay to Mrs. Norrods.
I think it was extremely exciting. I was just thrilled to, I'd always, for my whole life, never knew what I wanted to do as far as career, but I always knew I wanted to be a wife and a mom. And so that was like my dream coming true, to finally be able to say I'm becoming a Mrs. and that I have hopefully, family to look forward to. I think it was a little bit hard, you only get married once, hopefully. So I had never, left the identity that I had with my parents. So I remember, I think it was about a week after our marriage, we were driving around and it kind of hit me that I'm no longer Lindsay Ruiz, I'm Lindsay Norrod, and I'm not like in my family's home anymore. And that kind of shook me just a little bit, and I grieved what I had lost, just my carefree childhood, realized that now I'm transitioning into marriage and a lot more responsibility that comes with, that relationship and adulthood. And so, I had mixed feelings at the beginning, but I never ever doubted my decision to marry Fletcher and that I did the right thing.
Okay.
So,
You guys are just an amazing. Amazing.
oh, thank you.
So we know every marriage, they have their challenges, because if there's anyone who is watching us out there and you have a smooth sailing marriage, you need to tell
Bed
us.
of roses?
You need to tell
We need
us
to-
those bed of road marriages. We know that there are challenges in marriages, And what would be one of the challenging things that you had to overcome, and how did you guys overcome that, as a couple together?
For sure. So I think some of the challenges we face just in dating even, just due to Fletcher, his background not being a Christian and everything. So it was just trying to come to terms of agreement between certain practices and him learning, I did grow up in the church, and so it was him learning, a lot of different moral issues and things like that he was unaware of before.
Yeah.
So, we did a lot of just talking things out and studying together, and we always wanted to have the mentality that we'd be on the same page. We're never gonna, that's your belief and this is mine, and we'll just coexist with that, because we know that's not gonna create a truly strong, united marriage.
Yeah.
So we worked through a lot of different things, and yeah, we really felt like that was a good thing that we even did in dating, was trying to get to the bottom of some of those things.
Communication. So you guys had effective communication.
But
Yes.
from your end though, Fletcher, I guess man to man now, what were some of the difficulties or one of the difficulty that you had? So this, Lindsay spoke of in terms of you guys communicating and working things out together. What from your own background that she just mentioned, what was some of, or anything that you would have had a challenge with, and you were thinking, how do I get over this particular?
Yeah, so like she said, and like I've said, I didn't grow up in the church.
Yeah.
My family, my mom and dad are divorced right now. Their marriage was not a very good marriage. So
Yeah.
I not only struggled with, and in some ways still do, sense of identity and sense of kind of knowing where I came from, but just the struggles that come with that emotional deficit.
Yeah.
So it just took a long time to overcome those.
Yeah.
Something I'm still, in a lot of ways working through.
As we all are.
So yeah, like she said, the 2 years that we had before marriage to really work through a lot of that stuff was incredibly beneficial. But it doesn't stop once you get married. That's something you have to continue to work
That's
on.
awesome.
So that was a challenge before marriage. We were able to work on some of it beforehand. Marriage has honestly made it that much easier, but it's something that we're still
Working
something
on.
I'm still
That's
working on.
that's awesome. So here, guys, that marriage is a work in progress. If you're taking nothing from this, it's a work in
Yeah.
progress. It's not an end in and of itself, but it's something that you continue to do. We have the final question for you guys now in terms of for each other. And we want to hear from you guys, starting with you, Fletcher.
Okay.
What is your top advice or your number one advice for persons who are looking to get married?
Number one advice for someone looking to get married, so not somebody that's married.
Married.
So I would say make sure that you are intentional with who you're dating, and make sure that the intention is to get married.
Okay.
If you're dating, don't just date for fun. Make sure that you're serious with that other person, because ultimately, if you're wanting to get married, it's going to get serious at some point. You're going to have to learn how to work through challenges and learn how to, be there emotionally for that person and be vulnerable yourself with your own emotions with that person. So be serious in the dating process would be my number one advice for someone looking to get married.
I love the fact that he said, don't just date for fun. Date with intention. So guys, it's not all about fun. You need to have some intention to get married. Lindsay, what's your number one advice to persons who are dating and they're looking to get married? What would you say to them?
I would say before you are ready to consider dating, try to really work on yourself. Because I've heard it said that, it doesn't take 50% of me and 50% of someone else to come together and make a great 100% marriage. It takes 100% of me, 100% of them, and when we come together, that's a powerful force.
Yeah.
So I think working on yourself and really trying to figure out, like he touched on, your sense of identity and worth needs to be the foundation of, your approaching a relationship with someone else.
I like that. So guys, work on yourself before trying to work on anybody else. Work on you. Bring your best version to the marriage. Now, I want to hear from you, Lindsay. What's your number one advice to persons who are already married? Because we know how marriage can be. What would you advise them already married?
Okay, so yeah, I think probably what we've experienced in our marriage that we consider top priority is communication.
Nice.
It truly is everything, as cliche as it may sound, but communication is everything. And so the more you can talk about, what you expect, I think we go into marriage often just thinking that this person will know what I need and know how to fill my needs. And that's very much not true. I think when you're dating, everything's fun and they're so invested in trying to please you and do whatever but then when you get married, I think that relationship deepens and there's so much more of you that person has to figure out how to fulfill your needs,
Yeah.
and also being careful, I think, what you call needs versus
Just-
maybe desires.
Yeah.
You know, I need air and water,
Okay.
but I desire X, Y, and Z from you.
Yeah, sounds awesome.
Love that wording. So communication.
Yeah.
Wording is important for sure.
Fletcher, do you have anything to add in terms of for married couples?
Yeah, so like we said before, we're just kind of the same person. So she's still mine will be my number one. Yeah, the main thing is we can't read each other's minds, so we
Mhm.
have to let each other know what we desire, what we
Mhm.
need, maybe how something that they do makes us feel
Yeah.
or not feel. Because like she said, in the honeymoon phase and the dating phase,
Yeah.
it's easy. You're just so wrapped up in that
Mhm.
other person that you don't even think about it.
Mhm.
But it's all gonna. The honeymoon phase ending is not where your marriage just ends. It's
Yeah.
just that's where the work starts, and you've got to be willing to say, "Hey, I'm gonna figure you out, and study you, and learn what you need. And we need to communicate to help each other do that."
So you're in this for life, guys.
Yes.
Once you make that decision, there's no there's no escaping out of it. It's not an easy escape. You guys committed to work on each other, work with each other, so that you guys can grow together in love. That has been some heavy stuff, some heartening
Yeah.
stuff that
Some
that
nuggets.
is great for couples that are aspiring to get married.
You see
those
how
who
he
are
looks at Lindsay?
already,
He's just
yeah, already married.
That's good. And guys, they've been
Yeah.
married for 6 years and he still looks at her this way, you know?
So let's have some fun.
Yeah, let's
have
let
some
down
fun.
her hair.
So we
Let's
have some fun
go.
questions for you guys that will help in terms of for couples.
So, let's see. Who wakes up first?
Definitely Fletcher.
Alright, so who's the early riser?
Person.
Okay.
Who said I love you first?
That was Fletcher.
Wasn't.
There's two sides to every story. Red
Alright.
truck. You're a red truck. I think we were in Hamburg visiting downtown shops. You said.
We were, yes.
Okay.
You remember.
Memory jog. Memory jog.
We did a good job there.
Yeah.
All right. Who is the better cook?
That's actually a hard one. Fletcher really likes to cook.
Nice.
He's artsy in that. You know,
Okay.
when he's in the kitchen, he can cook a good meal too. So I would say I do it more often, but I
Yeah.
honestly would say we're on par.
You're definitely the best.
That's
That's very
sweet.
He's modest. All right. Who takes longer to get ready?
Probably me. I'm the girl, so yeah, he's pretty quick about throwing himself together. He has to be.
Yeah.
What's wrong with us?
I know. We gotta prove a little more.
All right. Yeah, we have to. All right.
Who's the financier? Who controls the?
Yeah. Who spends more money?
Yeah.
Who's the spender?
Who's the spender?
I'm
Who's the
definitely,
saver?
definitely the spender. And
You're the
Say.
saver.
I'm
Okay.
more of a death by 1,000 cuts kind of spender.
Okay.
If it's a brand new suit,
Mhm.
I'll wear this suit until it's
Mhm.
barely hanging on
Mhm.
before I buy another suit.
Yeah.
But if it's a candy bar at the gas station
Yeah.
or a Gatorade or something,
Yeah.
I'm all about those little expenditures.
Little expensive
Okay.
add up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. And our final question is, who is the better driver?
Ooh, I don't know. I mean, to be honest, I would just go.
Fletcher's
I would go with Fletcher because he drives more often, so I think
Yeah.
he's the more experienced one. I love
Okay.
that. I just, I let him drive everywhere.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
I guess, yeah.
He's the
I'm
better
a confident driver, but yeah, he's better than me.
Very.
I'm the best driver on the road.
On the road.
At least that's what I think.
Okay. Sounds
He's
good.
a
Sounds
stunt
good.
man.
So good. Thank you guys so much for joining our
Thank you for having
podcast.
us. Yeah.
It was awesome. It was really fun having you guys here. And you have shared with our viewers a couple nuggets that will stay with them for sure. You guys can always tell us what was it that stood out for
Yeah.
you the most from this episode. Anything?
We pray that hearts will be blessed by this episode, and remember to subscribe and comment and like, and if it is that this episode blessed your heart, please share it with somebody else so that their hearts can be blessed, because they drop a whole heap of nuggets.
Yeah. Thank you guys again for
Thank you,
being
guys.
here, and thank you guys so much for watching another episode. The fact that you stayed here, it means that you'd have seen everything in its entirety, and we're looking forward to join you again as you join us on our next episode of A Couple Things. Bye, guys.
Bye.
I get to love you. It's the best thing